Hello, today we are going to talk to you about a food system, the different types of food systems and their effect on the community, environment and businesses. People, food and the environment. We are all connected, from microbes in the soil to the sun in the sky. The food we grow, our community, the shops, transport, farmers, schools, councils and the policymakers in government. We all help to form part of our food system. What do you know about the food that we eat? Do you know where it comes from or how it gets to your plate? Or even who makes money from it? Let's find out. A food system includes all of the steps taken to get food and drink to our plate. This also includes all the people who help along the way, the farmers who grow the food, the truck drivers who then transport it, the shops who sell it, the factories processing and packaging the food, and the community who eat it. The food system is very complex. Let's break it down into the different steps. There are 6 stages of a food system. They include how food is grown and farmed, processed and packaged, transported, purchased and sold, eaten and thrown away. Let's take a closer look at what happens at each stage. Food systems begin with the growing and farming stage. The process for fruit and vegetable farming involves preparing the soil by fertilizing, watering, and planting the seeds. And with sun, air, and more water, the seeds grow into plants which we can eat. It's not just fruit and vegetables that are grown. Animals like fish, chicken, and cows are also involved in our food system by giving us eggs, milk, meat, and cheese. When food is ready, it is then collected for the processing and packaging stage. There are different levels of food processing. Simple processes include washing, cutting, freezing, heating, or dehydrating the food, depending on how the food is sold and eaten. More complex processes include molding foods into shapes, grinding foods, and adding artificial additives. We call foods that undergo these processes ultra-processed foods. These types of foods are becoming more popular as they are cheap to make and last a long time without going bad. After processing, food is packaged to protect it from tampering and contamination and to preserve the shelf life of the product. Packaging is also used to advertise the food to customers. Often, more ultra-processed foods are promoted over healthier options. Once packaged, the food is then ready to begin its journey to where it will be sold. To get the food to where it needs to be sold, it has to be transported and properly stored. This involves getting the packaged food onto boats, trucks, planes, or trains to be sent to various locations. The type of transport used depends on the distance that the food needs to travel. This is known as food miles. Once transported, the food is then stored, shelved, then purchased by the consumer. This can be selecting and paying for groceries at the supermarket, but it also includes the restaurants, cafes, and other retailers that purchase, prepare, and sell food to their customers. After purchasing your food comes the best part, eating it. The location we eat our food is also part of the food system. This can range from eating your lunch at school, your workplace, or even enjoying a meal out at your favourite restaurant. It can also include preparing, cooking, and eating at home with your family and your friends. Waste is anything that is disposed of or left over at any stage of the food system, from the farm, transport, processing and packaging waste, to the scraps from the preparation of fresh food or what is left over on our plates. Some waste can be recycled, reused, or composted, but a lot of it ends up in landfill. These are the 6 main processes from how our food gets grown to on our plates and how it's disposed of. What's happening to our food system now? Australia and the world are part of a global food system. In earlier decades, what we bought and ate was usually grown, produced, and processed locally. Today, much of what we buy and eat is ultra-processed with lots of added ingredients and comes from all around Australia and the world. Our environment and health is suffering as a result. There are many challenges with our current global food system, and they are all connected, and some of them are long food miles and our environment. The further food is transported, the more CO2 and other greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere, which means transporting our food around the world is damaging our environment. Food production is responsible for up to 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions and 70% of freshwater use. Growing and farming food also take up around 40% of global land, which means land is becoming less available. Global population is growing at a rapid rate. This means there are increasing pressures to grow and produce more food. In order to produce more food, it is easier for a farmer to grow a large amount of the same type of food. Food is becoming less diverse and less tasty, and communities are becoming less skilled in producing and preparing food. Health. Ultra-processed foods are becoming more common and easier to access because they are widely available and cheap. Fast food outlets, vending machines, school and sport canteens, and convenience stores such as petrol stations are making it easier to access these foods and at more times of the day, which is impacting our health. The easier it is to access these foods, the more likely we are to eat them. Because they are high in fat, salt, and sugar, when we eat a lot of them, they can negatively impact our health. Increase waste. Higher amounts of waste is also an issue, as when food is grown remotely, more food is wasted because people feel less connected to the time and effort required to produce it. Money loss. Having a global food system also encourages money to flow out of the community rather than keeping money within it. This means that there are less jobs and money within the local community, which negatively impacts the local economy. What's the alternative? A local food system includes the same stages as a global food system. However, the stages go around in circles rather than a straight line. More food is grown, processed, transported, and sold in the local community. The local food system creates a more direct link between producers and consumers through all of the stages. A strong local food system has health, environmental, and financial benefits for everyone. There are many benefits of a local food system. Opportunities are created at all stages, from growing and processing to transporting and selling, meaning that more money and jobs are kept in the local community. Community and home gardens create social interaction and increase activity. This generates a greater connection between farmers and the community. It also leads to a culture of appreciation, of knowing where our food comes from, how it is grown, and the work that is involved to get it onto our plates. When food is produced closer to home, less packaging and transport and waste is involved, therefore less damage is done to the environment. Overall costs can therefore be reduced at all stages of the food system as they remain local. A more localised food system is better for our environment, better for our community, and better for our own health. We all want to live in a community that thrives financially, environmentally, and in terms of our health. We are lucky that we have opportunities to create this for our community. Let's think about our local food system. Does it have these components now? And what can we do to make it better? Thank you for watching this presentation. We hope you've been able to learn something about food systems and have started wondering what we can do as a community to help improve our local food system.